Recently, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were discussing the, I don't know, basically, we were just talking about, why do people let themselves go? And, you know, we're all guilty of maybe seeing an old classmate or an old teacher or something, and, most people are like, damn, what happened? Like, they let themselves go. What the hell? But it's easy to just go for that and reach for that. But when you just sit and think of it from a more empathetic standpoint, I was telling him, like, now my perspective is, when I see somebody that's, quote unquote, let themselves go, um, I think about, okay, the times in my life where I guess I haven't looked my best or felt my best or been in a situation where somebody may have said that about me, like, dang, like she used to be like this, like what happened, and then it just brought me to thinking, okay, instead of us going for, damn, like this person is big as hell, or I don't know what, just usually it has something to do with appearance, but it's not just about appearance. It could just be their sharpness or just anything else. You get the point. I was just telling him, look, life is so hard. We are all trying our best. Well, most of us anyway. And my personal opinion is that life can be fucking ruthless, okay? And a lot of the times, obviously I'm a woman, so I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective. Um, a lot of the times when women, stop taking care of themselves, it has a lot to do with, trauma. So the first thing I start to think about is, what the hell did this person go through? Something triggered this. Something triggered this person to go into a depression and just eat a bunch of unhealthy food because that's the only comfort or source of dopamine that they could get. They would just sit in the house, eat, because that's the only thing that they could reach for that would make them feel good. People reach for different things, but I'm just using this example for people that may have gained a lot of weight. And your first thought is, oh damn, why did they get big as hell like that? And then I was also sharing with him, some women have hormonal issues. I have PCOS, so even when I was a teenager, I stopped, and I see women that are overweight or women that have, like facial hair or just, I don't know, thinning hair. My first thoughts are, I come from, again, like an empathetic state or place of mind where I'm just thinking, okay, she more than likely has like a hormonal imbalance. I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, like her hair is so thin. And so basically, the whole point I'm trying to drive home is instead of reaching for that ignorant thought that most of us just automatically jump towards, like your first thought should be not what happened in the sense of like, why did she let herself go? Like what happened? Like who hurt her or what hurt her or like what did this person go through to get them to this point? Let me check on them. Let me see how they're doing. And then he was like, you know what? I didn't even think of it that way. And, I really appreciated the fact that he was even open to hearing my perspective. Because then he started to think about some things. He was like, you know what, now, so I love having conversations with my friends because we just bounce different perspectives off of each other. And this is something that I just started to, I don't know, this is just what am I trying to say? And I'm not going to erase this episode because I can't gather my thoughts properly. I need my podcast episodes to be just natural in my natural form. I don't want to make it perfect. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to make like a really short episode. Because like in the recent years, well, maybe since 2020, I have seen a lot of people, look very differently over the years since 2020. I mean, including myself. Like, that's why I keep going back to life is hard. Life is ruthless. People are going through divorces. People are mourning the death of parents, children, friends. And some people just have, like they've just been dealing with depression, for a very, very long time. And sometimes it just gets really hard to push through something like that. And the last thing on your mind is doing your hair, doing your lashes, being a baddie, having the six pack, having the fresh beard, like that's the last thing on your mind. I was telling him, like, some people are fighting for their life. Some people are just fighting to just get through the next day. And also I was telling him, um, people that, how do I say this? I want to make sure I don't say this in an offensive way, but it's also a trauma response, when people just stop taking care of themselves. And I kind of lightened it a little bit for him, but I was basically telling him, like, I noticed that I don't really like to, look my absolute best most of the time when I leave the house because, it brings attention. And again, from a woman's perspective, it's just like, a lot of us will leave the house and we'll be semi presentable, but we'll wear the sweatpants and we go for a certain look where we hope that, maybe, a man won't approach us or we won't get too much attention or too many looks. So, that's another reason why some people may have, I guess, stop putting as much effort into their appearance. Because they're trying to survive, or they just don't want to be noticed. And that's another thing. Like, but life just be lifing. And I don't know if I told him this, but I keep saying to people that I'm tired of being perceived. I don't want to, I don't want to be a baddie today. I don't want to be gorgeous. I don't want to, what do the kids say nowadays? I don't want to be a fine shit today. I just want to just wake up, breathe. I want to go to Trader Joe's and get my grapes and my food and my salsa and everything I need to get from there. And I just slicked my hair back today. I didn't put on any makeup, and I just what people would consider looking busted. So somebody might see me in Trader Joe's that knows what I usually look like, and they're like, "Dang, what happened to her?" And it's like, whole time I just don't want to be noticed. I don't want to be perceived, and it also is a protection thing. It's like I know that if I look like this, people are less likely to come and follow me to my car and ask me for my number, stuff like that. So it does keep you safe, well, safer. But yeah, I just wanted to just when I have these random thoughts or these random conversations with friends, I'm just like, let me go ahead and share this with somebody. I know somebody's going to come across this. And yeah, I would love to hear what, anyone else has to say. But I've definitely worked on not jumping to being judgmental. All humans are judgmental. That's we were given judgment to protect ourselves. That's how our brain makes sure we're safe. Um, and we also have, we use it to judge character and is this person safe to be around, or is this person okay? Do I need to ask them, are they okay? So even when you're not trying to judge a person or a situation, it just happens automatically. So now I'm working on my judgment being a little bit more emotionally intelligent, empathetic, and just when I have that first, I call it an ignorant thought, but when I have that first ignorant thought, I I double back and I'm like, wait, that was ignorant as hell. This person could be going through something. They could literally, like I just said, look, I lost my job in May. I'm like, this person could have lost their job. And again, like I said, the last thing on their mind is looking good or trying to look, trying to look good. But yeah, at this point, I'm stretching this podcast out, but I really, really want to hear other people's perspectives um, around the topic of people letting themselves go.